in this video, I'm going to give you the ultimate guide to building your booty at home. I will be walking you through all of the exercises that you must be doing for your workouts. Let's talk about weights. I recommend that you get weights that are not too light, but not too challenging. So you need something somewhere in the middle. For example, I would always go with weights that I can get to 10 reps easily with good form, but with 15 reps, I would have to struggle with my last 3 reps. So I would usually just start with somewhere about 10 to 15 kg, depending on the exercise that I'm doing. So if you are a beginner, I recommend that you start with something around 5 kg or 5 pounds. And if you're somewhere in the middle, if you are an intermediate, I recommend that you start with 10 kg or 10 pounds. And if you're more advanced, you can go with 15 to 20. So I have with me here 10 kg dumbbells. So that is what I'm going to be using to walk you through all of your exercises for today. Also, you can use resistance bands. Resistance bands are a great alternative if you don't have weights like dumbbells or kettlebells. You can also use ankle weights. Ankle weights are really great and they're very versatile, and you can use them to do multiple exercises. It's very important that you progress with your weights along the way. This is why I always recommend that you transition to using the gym after about 6 months of training at home, because eventually your muscles will get used to the stimulus. So it's important for you to progress with your weights as you move along. So let's start off with compound exercises. It's very important to understand how to train and how to group your workouts. Compound exercises are exercises that targets multiple muscle groups at the same time. So they work multiple muscle groups. So if you're doing a squat or if you're doing a deadlift, you're using many different muscles to do this exercise, and this is a compound exercise. I'm going to show you 5 compound exercises that you must include in every single booty or leg workout. These are key to growing your overall lower body. The first are deadlifts. These are so amazing, not only for your glutes, but for your hamstrings. It also strengthens your lower back. And the more bend that you have in your knee, you will hit your glutes more. And the stiffer your legs or the more straight your legs, you'll be hitting the hamstrings a lot more. So there's different variations of a deadlift. We have the Romanian deadlifts or the stiff leg deadlift. Now for this exercise, you want to keep your knees slightly bent. You're pushing your hips back whilst keeping your spine in neutral. Then start coming back up, driving the weight through your heels. And there are so many other variations of this exercise, like the staggered or B-stance deadlift, as I'm doing right here. So for this one, you just put most of your weight on one side, then you go down into a depth that tugs at your hamstrings, and then you come back up. Next are lunges. I specifically like the reverse lunge because it hits the glutes more versus doing the forward lunges, which hits the quads a lot more. For this, you're going to just step back, making sure that most of the weight is in your front leg and in that front heel, so you really feel it in your glutes. You're also going to go as low as you can with that back leg slightly bent. Whenever I'm doing a reverse lunge, I like to look down so I keep my chin tucked. The key to this exercise is to stay balanced, so just make sure that your glutes are under tension. And another variation for this would be the split lunges. You are in a lunge position, but you stay static and you do like an up and down movement, and you'll be able to feel this in your glutes as well as your quads. And that takes us to the Bulgarian split squats. You will need to get a chair or a box, or you can use your sofa at home to put your foot back up on. This is another great exercise to have in your booty training program at home. Make sure that you're comfortable with whatever you choose. Here, you want to drive through your heels, and this just means put all the pressure when you're coming back up into the heel of your feet, and make sure that you go low, no half reps. Feel it in your glutes, your quads, and even your calves. So you have to remember in all these exercises that your weight is in your heels. You're not rocking your weight forward when your heels are off the ground. Also, slow your movements down. Mind to muscle connection is very important so that you can feel the muscle working. It's not about getting through your reps quickly. It's about having the most effective reps. Next are step ups. These are great too. I just started doing this in my routine. You'll use the same bench or chair and you will feel this in your quads and your glutes and your hamstrings, but most especially your glutes. This exercise will just kind of lift your whole backside, and the key when doing step ups is not to rely on that back leg. That front leg should be doing all the work. Push through that heel to bring yourself back up, so don't pause at the bottom of that movement. Keep yourself stable and you're driving up through that heel. Don't forget the heel. Finally, for the compound exercises, we have sumo squats. These are my favorite exercises for the inner thighs and the glutes as well. Here your legs are wider than shoulder width and you're holding the weight in between your legs. Your toes are pointed out slightly and keep your chin tucked, so look down at the ground. This will keep your spine in neutral and the emphasis will be placed on your glutes. Keep your movements slow and controlled so that you're really putting emphasis on the glutes and your adductor. Okay, so now I'm going to talk to you about glute isolation exercises. These are exercises that specifically target the glute muscles. So unlike compound exercises that target a majority of the muscles in your lower body, in a glute isolation exercise, your glutes are one of the only muscles working. So if you have a hard time really growing your booty because you're probably quad dominant or your thighs tend to grow faster than your glutes, make sure to incorporate these isolation exercises. So you're going to use either ankle weights, resistance bands, kettlebells, or dumbbells. And you can do these isolation exercises as part of your regular workout, or you can do them as a standalone workout. I do have a few workouts on my fitness app, and I have booty programs on my website for you to follow along to. So let's just jump into it. First, we have kickbacks. For this exercise, you just want to make sure that your upper body is as still as possible. In this movement, it's really just coming from your glutes, so the only thing moving is your leg. You can also do this standing up against the wall to assist you with your balance. Just make sure that your upper body is as still as possible. This movement is really just coming from your glutes, so the only thing moving should be your leg. So make sure that you squeeze your glutes slightly at the top and bring your leg back down slow and controlled with your movements. And be careful not to overarch your back or round your back. Keep it in neutral. Keep it straight. We have a lot of different variations for these kickbacks as well. There's also the side glute kicks, great for your side booty, that glute medius, and this will just give you that really rounded, lifted look. And finally, we have hip thrusts and glute bridges. Now, the main difference between a glute bridge and a hip thrust is the setup. So a glute bridge is usually performed on the ground with body weight or light weights, while hip thrusts are performed with a bench and a barbell. And a hip thrust is basically a glute bridge with a bigger range of motion. Now, glute bridges are more beginner friendly, so let's start with the glute bridge. So for this, you're going to lie on your back with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. You can also prop your legs up on a box to kind of give yourself more range of motion if you choose to do a bridge instead. Now, I prefer hip thrusts for obvious reasons. When it comes to your form, your feet should be hip width apart, and you're going to press through your heels and squeeze your glutes as you lift your hips up off the floor, and your body should form a straight line from your shoulders to your knees at the top of the bridge. When you get to the top of the bridge, you want to focus on squeezing your glutes as hard as you can. This maximizes the effectiveness of the exercise. And then just lower your hips back down to the starting point and repeat that movement. And finally, we have hip thrusts. Hip thrusts are more elevated, like I said. With this movement, remember to maintain a straight line from your shoulders to your knees at the top of the movement and avoid overarching your lower back. So just keep your chin tucked and your shoulders off of the chair or bench or whatever object that you're using to rest on. You should be moving with your weights, okay? Moving with your weights. Squeeze your booty at the top of that movement without lifting or arching your back. So how often should you train your glutes? You should be training your glutes about 2 to 3 times a week. That is more than enough. And you should not be training your lower body every single day. You have to make sure that you are also resting it. Have to rest those muscles if you want it to grow. And yeah, so at least 2 of those workouts should be the compound movements. And you can either do the compound exercises first and then finish with the isolation exercises. And you should aim to do about 15 to 20 reps of your workouts and about 3 to 4 sets of each. Now, you don't need to do all of these exercises that I've shown you all at once in one workout. I suggest choosing about 3 compound exercises and 3 isolation exercises and focus on those progressively. And yeah, that is it, you guys. Comment below if you found this video helpful. Don't forget to check out all of my home and gym workout programs on my training app and on my website. My links are going to be in the description for you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one.